Today I want to talk to you about Lauren Southern, a Canadian journalist who was banned from entering Great Britain on the grounds of being a racist and an extremist Christian. So let me give you some context. Earlier in the year, she had gone to the town of Luton and set up a table with some pamphlets that asked the question, is Allah gay? She was setting up a display about being gay in Islam. The reason she did this is she had seen an article in Vice earlier that had asked the question, is Jesus gay? Now, there was no pushback from that article that I am aware of. Anyone today can say anything they want about Jesus, about religion, particularly Christianity. It's free speech. But in Luton, the police were called, and she was told to take down her display.
So we're just here in Luton to challenge these far-right misconceptions that Islam is homophobic. I hope you enjoy it.
That's very offensive.
Why would it be bad
very
if all were
offensive.
gay?
No,
Why could it be?
Yeah, it is offensive.
Guys, you know, you can't take it.
Why can't I have this?
Because it's offensive. I've had 3 or 4
How is
people
it
come up.
offensive?
Because people.
Yeah, I find it offensive.
To understand Luton, you have to imagine being in a small town in Iran or Saudi Arabia. The women are dressed in niqabs, you can barely see their eyes, and the men have no compunction coming up to you and pointing in your face and saying to you, you're not dressed modestly enough. They bully you. Well, she left when the police asked her to, and then about 6 weeks later, she was to return to Britain for a speech. She came through Calais in France, and she was denied entry. This is what she was told. Her presence in the country is not conducive to the public good, and accused her of distribution of racist materials, presenting a threat to the fundamental interests of society and to the public policy of the United Kingdom. Let's first talk about racist. She was accused of being racist in Luton. We are not going to use the word racist anymore when people criticize Islam, for the reason that Islam is not a race. Islam is an ideology and a religion, but not a race. So let's stop accusing people of being racist. But what upset me the most was that she was denied entry for being an extremist Christian. What does that mean? How does one get to be labeled an extremist Christian? What is the definition? And this really surprised me. First of all, how did they know she was a Christian? Do they now ask when you come across the border? When I was there in May, no one asked me my religion. And then how do they decide that you are an extremist Christian? Do they have a list of questions on a clipboard? And depending on how many little squares you check off, they decide whether you're just a regular Christian, not going to bother anyone. No, you're an extremist Christian. What are those questions? And then think about this. She's in Great Britain, the home of the Magna Carta, where King Henry VIII left the Catholic Church and began a new religion, the Anglican Church. And today, Queen Elizabeth is the titular head of the Anglican Church of Great Britain. Great Britain is a Christian country, firmly rooted in the Judeo-Christian ethic. And this Christian was not allowed in because she was a threat to the fundamental interests of society and the public policy of the United Kingdom. This is the same country that is bringing back Muslims who have been living in Great Britain and went to fight for ISIS. They fought for ISIS. They beheaded people. They burned them. They drowned them. They raped their women. Not to worry. They're going to come back to Great Britain because I guess they're not a threat to the fundamental interests of society. And she comes from Canada, where Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tells us all the time, a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian, and we too are bringing back Muslims who lived here, either grew up here or immigrated here, didn't like it here, and went over to fight for ISIS and did the same horrible crimes. And they're going to come back, and we're going to rehabilitate them with art and music therapy. But our Prime Minister, as far as I know, has yet to stand up for a Canadian citizen visiting another country from the British Commonwealth and being denied entrance because she was a threat to the fundamental interests of this Christian society. I stand with Lauren Southern, and I hope the rest of you will stand with her too. It's time for us to speak up and protect and defend our Western culture, which is firmly rooted in the Judeo-Christian ethic. All of us have to stop being afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. We have to stop being bullied into silence. I, for one, will not go gently into that good night. I will not let my culture die with a whimper and a whine. I intend to stand up for our values, our beliefs, our Western culture, our liberal, freedom-loving country. I will speak, I will write, I will do these videos. But the last thing any of us can do is be silent, because my brothers and sisters in freedom, silence is collusion.